create and edit content and build a brand or build brands, because many people in here. James, what can people be doing now to let's start, should we take people through a journey of how they can build a brand from zero in 10 minutes? Should we do that?
Mm-hmm.
So, right, day one, day one, you have no brand, yeah? But you have, let's say you have no property. Let's make it even harder. You have no properties and you have all your accounts set up and your name chosen. Let's ignore that stuff, done. Where do we start, James?
I think first of all, you need to decide, are you going to come across as a company? Are you going to have a company name, or are you going to have a personal brand? Now, by that, I'll use Tej as an example. You could come across as Tej Singh, or you could come across as Tej Talks. You need to decide, how are you going to portray yourself to your audience that you're setting up? Have that name and stick to that name and use that name consistently throughout. So don't have, Dave's property on your Twitter, then have David's property on something else, and then have Big Dave the property king on something else. Keep it completely consistent throughout. If you're using a once you've got a name, design yourself a logo or get someone to design your logo, but make sure your logo has strict brand guidance, So if you're going to use it on, say, Twitter, if you're going to use it, say, on a social post, make sure, the margins or the line spacings where the logo is going to sit is correct. Write this guidelines now, because what's going to happen is, in the future, when you need to hand this shit to someone else, you're going to get really, really annoyed if your logos are not being used in the right way, if they're being stretched out, if they're being used in the wrong color. Have a brand guidance pack. By that, I mean, show how you want your logos to be used, what sizes they need to be going to, how they're scaled, what colors they're used in. Really take the time to put a brand pack together. You can download this shit offline. It will tell you how to put a brand pack together, brand guidance for a logo. I think once you've got your logo sorted, make sure you've got your logo in various different formats, because you need your logo in different formats. If you're going to print something, you need your logo as a vector, an AI, or a high-res PDF, so it can be stretched, it can be used, and it can be printed properly. If it's being used on the web, it might need to be a PNG file. So take the time to save all of these formats now, so that when you're creating content, you ain't constantly going back to saying, oh man, I need a logo with a white background, I need a logo with no background, I need this, I need that. I think once you've got your name and your logo sorted, then you probably want to look at the next important thing, which I'm sure Ted will agree, is color. Look at a set of colors that work for you. I would say don't mix more than 2 colors or 2 to 3 colors. Don't go crazy and have every single rainbow color. Again, very, very easy to do. You just need to go online and you can search what color, type in what colors work with what colors. You'll see swatches. They'll show you a blue might go with a nice brown, or a blue might go with a nice teal color. You'll get the idea. You can pick the colors from there that you need. Once you've got the colors sorted, then I suppose it's about going through all your social platforms and making sure everything is consistent. So if you've got a header on Twitter, make sure you're following the sizes. If it's telling you it's 1200 by 700, create it at 1200. Don't create it at 1500 or 1900, and when it's all squashed up and your face looks like a flipping potato, you're wondering what the hell's going on here, man. It's pretty damn simple. Now, guys, it probably comes a lot easier to me because I was a graphic design lecturer. I worked in design for a long time, so it's probably second nature, but all of the stuff is out there. And I think your biggest, most powerful tool when you don't understand something is go into YouTube and just type it in. People have spent hours and hours creating really, really, really good, solid content to help you guys out. I think once all your platforms are set up and they're all looking really consistent, that's a major milestone achieved, because when you do start posting content and people start coming over to your platforms and they think, oh, you know what, this has got some kind of consistency to it. Oh, the colors are all the same, the logos are all nice. That's where you've built yourself a brand. People are now seeing that you have a solid brand, so that when you start posting content, you've got some real reinforcement behind you on your social platforms. I think once you got that sorted, I guess it's then what kind of content you're going to post. And, don't just willy-nilly post a picture of your dog or, a picture of your cat. It's got to have some flipping relevance, Okay, if your dog's on a building site and he's got a hard hat on and he's holding a drill, that's pretty cool, man. I'd want to see that. Or like sometimes one of my youngest son, there's a picture on one of my posts where he came over to our HMO and he's walking around with some screws or something. It looks pretty cool, you know, he's got a monster outfit on and he's messing around. It's got some relevance because he's there, he's having a look. But make sure your content's relevant. Cute little dogs, yeah, all they're going to do is get likes, but they're not really relevant to your brand. So make sure your content that you're posting is great. The next thing I would say is once you're ready to start posting content, you need a content plan. You can't just start posting content willy-nilly. You need to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you could spend forever listing content, you know. Producing content, or producing good content, let me say, takes time, you know. You need to really think about what you're posting. So have a content plan, you know, Monday to Friday, have a content plan, work out what days you're going to post what, work out the times you're going to post. I subscribe to something called Hootsuite, which costs me, I think, about 300 quid for the year, but it lets me schedule posts. It makes posting a lot nicer and a lot easier to do. I know Ted uses Later. I used it a little while ago. I quite like that as well. When you get to the point where you want to be putting a lot of content out there, I think you need one of these tools to start scheduling stuff up for you, because you need to bulk edit stuff. Like for me, when I'm doing videos now, I have to sit there and bulk edit all the videos together, because if I don't, it's going to take a long bloody time to just hit one video at a time. And the other thing you got to remember, when you are producing a video, videos have to be produced at different sizes for different social platforms. So, you know, there is a hell of a lot that goes into doing content. I get people message me all the time. They say, "Oh, James, how you do this, man? Your content looks good there." I said, "Listen, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears here to get this stuff ready. It's not. We don't just run it through a bit of software and it's done, man. There's a lot of time that goes into shit." I think I rabbited on a bit there, Ted. I don't know if you want to come in and add something.
No, I think you make very valid points. Like the point about logos and stuff, I actually always, I forget to mention that because it just becomes so normal, right? But the amount of logos, maybe not so much like in property, but just in general that you see that are blurry or don't have the right dimensions or are stretched or have like a white infill when they could be a clear background, or there's a lot of like basics that no matter how good your content is and how sort of well known you are, you're always going to be judged for a shitty blurry logo imprinted on your picture, because people are going to say, "Hold on, how is everything else so high quality but this isn't?" But also I think in human nature, and I guess I'm being really harsh or strict here, as humans we are obviously judging all the time, and if something as simple as your logo is blurry or not the right dimensions, I don't know, I do this, I always think, you know, why hasn't the detail been paid to this little attention? And if you're looking for investors, yes, they're investing in you, but your aim should be to show them that you are as diligent and as detail oriented as someone giving you a lot of money needs you to be. You know, if your logo, and this might sound silly because a solicitor could be incredible at contracts but have a crappy logo, but if your logo is blurry, there's a judgment. If your pictures are low quality, there's a judgment, and it imparts on you as a person. Like your clothes, like the way you speak, everything is always a judgment. So I'm not saying change who you are to meet people's judgment. I'm just saying show people an attention to detail and a level of diligence and why they should invest with you and why they should speak to you, right? Like, because it's so easy to do. And then if you're not doing the easiest things right, an investor's thinking, they may not, but they're thinking, can't do the easiest thing, right? How are you going to take 100K of my money and make sure I get it back? Because actually that ain't easy. So I think that's an important point. Shaz says he totally judges people on their graphics, attention to detail. Thank you for your honesty. Ruby says, we notice the small mistakes more over the good things. Yeah, I think we can be quite negatively biased. Creases on your bed in like an essay and pictures, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that does annoy me. I've definitely got some on mine. So I think what you said about content plan, when you start out, 1,000,000%. Like, I think the beauty of Later, maybe Hootsuite has it, is it's got a calendar sort of format, so you can very visually see how is my feed going to look, where's everything going, and it also has a feature that actually puts your future posts into a pretend feed, so you can see how it looks if you're really on it.
Just to add to that, Ted, it's also got, I know you're one who doesn't like to pay for expensive software, so I might as well tell you about it. It has a massive screen where you can see all your feed channels, yeah? So you can see what's going on. So you can, you know, they say social. Look at the word social media. You need to socially interact with someone. If someone said something, repeat back to it. And if you've got a massive screen, that shows all the social interaction. I can see it within minutes when something's pinged in and someone said, hey, that was really good, or hey, this is really cool. You can reply back to them, and you're socially interacting with them. So that's Hootsuite, Aaron. It's a great bit of software, man, and you get a free 30-day trial. Try it out. Again, really, really good videos online for it, just to help you get started. But if you're starting out, maybe later might be a little bit easier for you to understand, because I feel Hootsuite's it's a little bit more. You need to kind of spend some time setting it up, but once it's set up, it's bloody superb, man. It really, really is good.
It's such a good tool, and it allows you. Elite here, Andrew said that bulking and scheduling things at once makes life so much easier, and it does, because you're in the zone, you're kind of creative, you're writing, you're putting it out. It's just so much easier than every day, here's my content, which you do with your stories anyway, like on IG and on Facebook. So I think having a content, Sandy says another one called Buffer. I use Buffer for LinkedIn, but I think it's really clunky and it's just not well designed. They were one of the first ones in the game, and now they're just like the last. I think it's just not very well designed, but it's free for 10 posts on LinkedIn. So I just load it up to 10. When it drops to 5, I reload it. Simple as that. So
proper tight ass, ain't you? Proper.
I've got investors to pay back, boy.
I've got a spare user on Hootsuite. I'll just let you use it.
Oh, well, yeah, go on then. That'll be sweet. That would actually be really useful. So I think having a content plan is useful. Over time, though, maybe James, you may still use one. Depends on your mental structure, how you like it. I don't do very well with like content plan structures. I do well with just knowing I need to post X, Y, Z, sort of this sort of day, this sort of time, and then I do it. So I think over time, it just becomes so natural to you, and then content creation becomes so natural. You just do it.
Ted, just to add to that, mate, I think as soon as you're married and you've got 2 kids, you're going to need a planner, man. Things change.
Yeah.
Right now, you're, the focus is there, but chuck a couple of people into the mix, man, and you really need a planner. And I'm happy to share that planner with people. The planner that I use, just reach out to me, man, and I'll fire it across, because it is good and it helps me quite a bit.
So I think, what about when it comes to content? One of the questions I get asked so much, and I have the same answer for every time, and I think it's the easiest thing of social media, but it isn't for most people when you start,